Hello, welcome back to the channel. We are here about to write a song, or at least start a song. Last episode, we went through and made a template on Studio One, so we are going to go ahead and bring that template up, and that's what we're going to use today for our song creation. I do believe I mentioned last episode that I wanted to do guitar, bass, and drums. That is quite a bit for one episode, so I think today we're going to focus on drums, specifically Midi drums, and how to get a drum pattern on Studio One. And from there, if we have time, we'll go ahead and start working on a guitar part, but I'm not sure if we will have the time. So for now, we are going to go ahead and check a couple of settings prior to working. So we're going to go up at the top bar and find Studio One, and we are going to click on the options in the drop down, and that will bring up your options menu. It'll say general, location, audio setup, external device, and advanced. We want to be on audio setup, and right now we want to be on audio device. That's going to show you, one, that your interface, the one that you're using in your DAW, is the proper interface for you. I am using a universal audio vault, so that is the one that is selected for me. Right now, the block size is 128. You can adjust that based on what you need. So if you go lower in sample rate, you'll get a better sound, but it's going to take up a lot of memory. And if you go for a higher sample rate, it's not going to take up as much, but you may have more latency. My computer is kind of old. If I go to 64, it starts to clip. So I am using 128 samples, and that'll give me at a 44.1 kilohertz. And my input latency is 4.40 milliseconds, and my output is 4.49. So we're going to go ahead and click over at the processing option, and my dropout protection is set to medium. So all of this is important because we want to get as little latency as we can possibly get from our samples. So that's why that little green Z button was so important. So without the little Z button, on the left side it says standard audio round trip. I would have 43 milliseconds of latency, and that is a ridiculous amount of latency. Latency is when you speak into the microphone and it takes 43 milliseconds to hear it out of your headphones. So that's kind of a decent way to explain it. And that works with every instrument that you're going to be using. You would have a 43 millisecond delay from when you start to do something to hearing it in your headphones. The Z, if the green Z, low latency, is enabled, I am getting 11.8, which is not ideal, but it does work, and I don't notice it, so it's not that big of a deal to me. And that's for audio, and then instrument is MIDI. MIDI instruments, I will have a 7.39 millisecond round trip. So that's what I'm going to keep on mine. If your numbers are way too high, typically I would say, like most people would probably say, to keep it under 10 milliseconds. I've been working with 11.8 for quite some time now and haven't noticed a difference, and have put out music with that latency. So I would say if you can keep it under 12, that'd be great. So if yours is over 12, I would go back over into the audio device and change your block size, and then go back into processing and see if it makes a difference. Which in my case it would have been 6.8. But I know that that is going to start clipping. So I'm going to go back to 128, and then you would hit apply, and then OK, and then that would be that for your latency. Now, once we have your latency figured out, I am going to make a very simple song because I'm just kind of showing everybody how to do it, not necessarily writing anything out. What I would normally do is I would pick out a section that I would like to record if I had a song ready that I wanted to work with, and then I would take my loop bar up here, drag it over to stay on the grid, and then you can toggle it on and off by this little symbol here, loop activate. See, off, on, off, on. Now with that set, every time it goes around and hits this 4, it's going to go back to 0 and start recording or playing again. So that's your loop. So to do drums, I'm using Midi drums today. You can use audio drums if you would like to. In fact, it's most likely preferred. But this is what we have today with stock plugins, and I don't have an actual drum kit set up. So the way you would do it is we're going to hit this little mouse, and we're going to pick our drum kit, which I do believe we picked Stadium, which might be fine. Let's see what standard sounds like. Yeah, we'll stick with that actually. We'll go with the standard kit for this. So since we're using MIDI, we're going to go ahead, anything with the loop over top of it. The top part of a track is a cut tool by default. And the bottom part of a track you can use for selection. So we're going to expand out our drums because that's what we're working with currently, which we just click and drag. And if we were to go to the top, you see how that line is following. That's all the spaces you could use your cut tool at, which if we need to use it, we will. And the other half of the track, it's an invisible line like in the middle of the track, that at the bottom we can use it as a select. If we double click and we have our loop on at the bottom half of the track, it creates a portion for us to record in, which is what we're going to use to record our drums today. I don't specifically have a drum beat in mind. We'll just make it up as we go. So now that we have that, we're going to go ahead and make sure that our timing is correct. I would like it in 4/4. And our tempo is correct. I would like it at 120 beats per minute. You can change yours if you would like to. And then we're going to right-click our metronome over here, this little triangle, and customize. And we're going to make sure it's going to work on everything. Yep, looks like it's going to work on everything. And we hit it blue, and it's ready to record. If we want to change that, we can hit the wrench. And that little wrench there, it brings up the metronome settings. It's going to have different options for sounds. I'm just using Logical 1 and Logical 2 for the accent and beat. Offbeat is for the click. I guess I have one bar of pre-roll if I want to, and it clicks to play. So when it turns blue, metronome is on. So when you hit the play button, you can hear the metronome clicking in. I'm actually going to turn up mine. Just a little, and let's see how that sounds. Yep, sounds good to me. Okay, and then we're going to go ahead and go back over here. We're going to back that off there. We're going to make ourselves a drum beat. So we're going to double click the bottom again, and that's going to bring up a piano roll. If you choose to use a piano roll for this, that is fine. I choose to go up here and change it from a piano to a drum. And I do believe that, yep, okay. So GM Drums in this drop-down menu will name all of the keys for you as a drum kit. Now that is exactly what we want. So we are going to start by finding our bass drum, which if you click on any of these, it should make the sound that it's going to make. sounds funny. Okay. So since we don't really know what we're going to be making right now, we're just going to go ahead and use the bass drum, following along with the metronome to build out a song, or at least a track. So I'm going to hit the metronome and start filling in spots, and you'll see it popping up over here. And hopefully by the end of it, you will hear a drum track. Okay, and we're going to actually extend that down to the 5, so it's a 4-bar measure. And do the same thing. We just drag that blue and then double tap that, and there we go. And then we can keep going from there. Okay, now that we have the snare and the bass kind of going, we're going to go ahead and move into a hi-hat of some kind. Should be... We'll stick with an open hi-hat. And what I've been doing is you click the area you want your drum to be in, and it will make it sound. So we're going to carry on with the hi-hat and see how that goes. Okay, and with that going on, we might put a little bit of cymbal, hi-hat, some crash cymbals. Which one sounds better? Alright, we'll go with crash cymbal number 1 for this. And everywhere we put a crash, we're going to remove the hi-hat. Okay. That sounds like a little bit of drums to me. Now we're going to go ahead and turn off this red arm button. And it might get a little louder with that being off. And listen to what we've got. Okay, that sounded pretty good to me. So the reason we name these tracking is because once we're done doing something, I usually like to take it and turn it into audio. So what we're going to do with this information is we're going to highlight the whole thing. Remember, the bottom half is a select and the top is a cut. I don't have any intentions of cutting right now. So I'm going to click and hold off to one side, and I'm going to start dragging it across this track. And then that'll highlight the entire track. And then I'm going to right click, and my recently used items, you might see it. But we're going to try to find them in the events. And I'm going to hit mix down this selection. And that turns it into an audio track. So now we have a way to a tracking track and a audio track. And we're going to keep this as the tracking track because we might add more later on. So we always have a template for that. But we're going to seal that back down to a cool small track. And then we are going to rename this new drum track Drums Main. And then we're going to go in our mix and make sure that Drums Main down here is in our mix no Vox, but it is not. So we're going to click it and move that into mix no Vox, main no Vox, sorry. So that it is adjusted normally. Okay, now we have a nice little drum thing, and if you'll notice that once you go in and turn it into audio, there is a chance that it gets a little louder as well. So keep that in mind. So we'll hit play. Okay. And what I'm going to do with this information is I am going to extend this down to the 9. And then right click my mix down drum main. And I'm going to duplicate. And that made a second one. And then when it passes on, it'll sound like it was just all one take. Okay, so now you have a drums main. I don't typically like to keep them with the tracking track, so I'm going to hold that on the edge, that little blue empty space, and drag it down underneath all the rest of the tracking tracks that we have made previously. So now we have a drum tracking, which we can always go back to and work with. And then we're going to start working our way down to getting main sections of the song done. So since we did duplicate it down here, we're going to go ahead and duplicate it up here as well. And then our drum pattern will follow along. So if we ever end up missing or messing up a note or wanting to change a note, we can just easily go back in and change the note, mix that piece down, and then bring it right back over to our drum main. So right now we have drums. Awesome. And we learned how to use a little bit of MIDI. So I think, yep, okay, it's been 23 minutes, so I think that's going to conclude today's episode. Make sure everything else is good. Yep, looking good, looking good. So yeah, I'll see you all next time. I'll hit play and let you hear the drums that we just made.